The times are evil and we should be vigilant. We should be vigilant because the time where we are living in are very wicked. Friends are not friends. Family are not family. Colleagues are not colleagues. Community or neighborhoods not the same. Your safety matters at all times and your privacy is very important. With the pressures of life, governments and their rules and regulations, their legislations, their policies, heavy taxation, we are reaching to a point where people are being pressured down. Governments don't care if you leave or if you're gone. All they care is about the numbers of the population goes down so they can have people they can control. At this moment, it's not working. Hence, they will lose whatever motives they need and strategies they need because we're just numbers, we're just statistical numbers to them. One goes, how many less, mortality, they really don't care at the end of the day. As long as the numbers are down for them, good. Whether it will be natural selection, whether it will be, pushing questionable agendas, whether they are pushing you to mask on, whether pushing you to get the needle, whatever it may be, they really don't care. And so because people are being pressured down, they pressure widely now, or is it broadly? Yeah, I don't know which is which, but widely, or on with, if that's even the word. But at the end of the day, is people start attacking one another because you can't attack the government directly. So people decide, hey, I'm going to take my frustration on the people around me, whether it's their own family members, their community, friends, colleagues, whichever. And because now things are not working out for them, since on a straight line they're being pushed down by their governments, they go after their own people. And I now you need to be very careful. Don't accept any invitation. Doesn't matter how close you are to that person. Invitations are not the same anymore. That invitation you take could be your last invitation. You can't trust anyone with preparing a meal. I'm always of the opinion if I'm watching someone prepare a meal, I should be able to see the kitchen. I should be able to see what they are doing. Personally, I'm a victim of poison. So I'm not speaking blindly. So we should be very careful of the environments we are living under. Relatives, when they see your progress, they want to pin you down, crush you, destroy you. They want to find ways to infiltrate your family and find ways to know how they can control your own folks. They want to find ways they can pin you down. Friends, they see your progress. No, misery loves company. Why should you be a success and they are going down? People have these so-called reunions. Well, stay away from those things. Because sadly in those reunions, as innocent as an intention may be just to see how people are coming together, this is the reality. When you guys were before the reunions, were you guys that close? No. So what makes it different? Because in most of these reunions, those who are the so-called the beautiful, the handsome, they're the direct opposite at that time. Either they have too many baby mamas or too many baby daddies, uh, uh deep into drugs and so much. And here you are, now you're the one on top. You think they're happy with you? They'll take you out quick math. Relationships are not relationships anymore. Relationships are agenda based. Agenda based from the context of someone wants to be with you, either there's genuine intention to be with someone, or now if you look at the nefarious thing, someone has found their ticket to be able to have child support custody. Someone has found an opportunity to give out a ritual sacrifice. Someone has found an opportunity to be able to find a way to sell you out in the trafficking of humankind. Someone has found a way to destroy you because they just feel nobody should be on the top. They just don't want to see your progress. So there's so many factors. And if it's getting to marriage, someone could want to get into marriage. There's those who are genuine, who want a partner, a friend, to build a bond. Others have found their ticket to be able to hide their past and who they once were and their body count and all the damages and all the salters. And so they found someone they can jump in and infiltrate. There's others who are getting into married for the sake of the divorce, how much they can get out of you and how long should they stay for them to get that money. Someone could get into marriage so that they can avenge what their exes did to them and now they use you to be the victim of that war. Someone else could be getting into marriage with the intention of finding how fast they can take a life insurance cover against you and take you out as quick as they can get, looking at how much they'll benefit. And the list goes on. If you get into work where you work, you have to be very careful. If you're having a meal, you can't leave your meal open there and say, oh, I'm meeting with my friend. If you're done with your meal, well and good. Concentrate on it, put your gadgets aside, finish your meal and go. But you leave your meal unattended to, or because you trust the people around you, I'm sorry, that will be the last time you'll have the last meal. You'll be blotted out. You have to be very careful and cautious. You cannot trust anyone. And you have to give everyone a benefit of a doubt. You see, even when you look at scripture, if you look at Cain and Abel, you ask yourself this question. They were both raised by the same parents and raised well. Each one had, they had their own place to do their work. But when Cain takes out Abel, he is not apologetic or repentant of the fact he took out Abel. Actually, his biggest problem is what if people hurt him when they see him. He's not repentant of the action of what he did to his own brother. He's more bothered about what he can benefit from it. So we are living in times that we should be very careful and we should be very cautious, because the times are evil and only God knows what's going on and what people will do. And people don't care the damage they leave behind. People don't care how many people they'll hurt. People don't care. We become so desensitized with all these types of media that people are watching. We become so desensitized to death. So people have watched so many programs, whether it's horror movies or whatever, or is for shooting or action, whatever genre it may be. And all these genres and all these, they promote execution. It reaches a point when people are having conversations when they're watching the media, they're like, how many people went down? Oh, 20 or 50. You become desensitized. Look at some of the games nowadays being played. They are all violent games. So it reaches a point where people have become accustomed to violence. They begin to love violence. They begin to embrace violence. Hence, we are seeing people celebrate serial, people take people's lives and abusers and all this. And people start saying, no, you should understand they were victims. And yeah, many people are victims, but people don't go around taking people's lives. We have so many victims of all these types of abuses that some of these people take people's lives, criminals do. We have many victims, but the victims don't go around taking people's lives. But as usual, media will shut that down. Social media will amplify the voices of the so-called criminals and tell them no, is a problem with their gene, is a problem with that. So they start giving it small terms. Pedophilia now called maps. You're thinking, how did we move from one attracted person to someone who intentionally takes out a little child and that, the PDF kind of characters? And you're thinking, something is wrong right here. Yeah. And so we've reached a place in society where evil is fine-tuned and given good names, names that we can play around. Documentaries, you have to be very careful nowadays with documentaries, because every documentary has its own agenda. You have to be very careful what agenda is playing. They can give an agenda of someone who's deep into the criminal and amplify the voice and say it was not them, it was the times. Many people, we've lived in poverty, but we didn't go around carrying guns and knives and going to hurt innocent people because we were in perilous times. No. So, but that part will not be amplified because it's not part of the agenda, it's not part of the. Let's look at social media. What's being censored nowadays? The truth. Even the content like this I'm releasing is really put on big eyes and everything, and they see what this person doing, empower and cut it off, cut that feed, But if you want to do things that do not assist anyone or content that has no guidance, it's been celebrated, that content will be amplified, because it's for agendas right now. They dumb down the society, they accept every trash that comes, and there's a win-win for them. They tell you, you don't need this, you don't need that. They mess up the male reproductive system, the women from reproductive system, and they know there's no population, and they don't care. So we should be careful and vigilant. What we watch, what we listen to, the crowds we engage in, places we go, you must be vigilant. don't assume anything. Little children, as young as they are defiling one another. There was a time you could be able to have kids go play together and enjoy. Right now, you have to be very careful because of the so many dysfunctional families. Kids have are watching their parents. Let's say if it's a child who has watched a parent with multiple partners go into this room where they are watching, and even sadly, even invited to indulge, by whether them being abused and then it being normalized. And then they're sitting with other children and they're thinking maybe this is a normal thing, and maybe your child is very naive and they think because of the love you show them in the house, the love out there, because you call your child a princess, a king, and so they think maybe that's the same out there in society. And this other child looks at a target and they do it. Or you can say, let kids go play in a particular home where, because you see all these friends or neighbors or family members, they also have kids of the same age. And so you presume, these kids will be safe. No, they won't be. Because it could be either that child from that home has nefarious plans against your child, or it could be one of the parents, or both of the parents, or one of the siblings, or all the siblings, or a new person who comes into the family, maybe is a cousin or a relative, etc., and they do something to that child. You have to be very careful. Right now, when you go to restaurants and you have your kid, you have to be very careful. When they want to go to the washroom, you have to be keen. Who will you say? How you will go to them? If you are a father and you have your daughter, you're thinking, I can't take them to the male's room. They have to go to the female. So who am I going to go with? Unless you don't have your wife at that time, maybe you're going to buy some snacks for the kid. Now you're thinking, who do I take so that they can protect? Because if you don't find the right person, maybe a waiter or someone, a lady who looks, you're in a lot of trouble. Because even that person you want to assist you could be looking at a target. Right now, we are in a very sad state whereby many parents have realized you take your child in a mall or in a to a washroom, and inside that washroom, there are men or women who are trying to indoctrinate these children inside those washrooms. And this is like 5-10 minutes tops while you are still there. So you have no idea what's going on. No idea what's going on. And the child comes out quiet and they were happy, not knowing that when they were in that washroom, that 5-10 minutes, something was done to them. We should be careful. We should be keen. We should be cautious. We should be careful, we should be vigilant, and we can't assume anything or anyone. So let's go to the religious leaders or faith leaders. They come and tell you, I have a dream, I have a vision, there's something I've seen in your family. They're very crafty nowadays. And because they know families are becoming more dysfunctional by the day. And so they'll always know there'll always be a flaw in a marriage, in a man's or a woman's life. And they'll never go for the man, they'll go for the women. And they will tell you, I can see the dream. And some of them practice divination. And eventually, anyway, you fall for the crime, and they invite you, come to the office and anything. They'll even give you a drink or something. You not knowing that drink you took, that cup of tea, that glass of water, that coffee, whatever it is, has been laced. And then they do everything to you in that moment. You have no clue what's going on. And then they dress you up well, you have no idea. And the incident keeps going on for such a long time. The one time you ask yourself, why do I feel like this? And when you go to the guy now, they tell you, how long have you been doing ABCD? You're like, I don't know why. ABCD happened to you. But where? Same thing when you go to some of the gynas. These cases are now coming out, or generally within the medical field. These cases are now coming out where everything was okay. You go to see a doctor, just a normal checkup. You lie on bed and, you will never know. Let me not lie. If they give you all the prescriptions, the way when they take their needle and they put all those drugs in front of you, honestly, you will never know if this is liquid water. You don't know. You're not in that field to understand what injection works, where, how many. You really don't know those stuff. They're in the best place. And you're there and you're seated and you're thinking, I'm in a safe spot, I'm in a hospital, nothing can go sideways. This nurse is very good. Oh, that doctor is very charming, very good. They are very respectful. They are very all these things. What you do not know is that is the lure of what they will do to you. And you are there. And before you know it, while you're resting there, thinking that either they are dealing with their dental or whatever it is that has put you in that hospital, a small injection, they do all they do to you, and then cover you up like nothing ever happened. And you in your head, you're thinking, that lady is thinking, or that gentleman is thinking, or that child is thinking, why do I feel different? When you ask the medical person, they'll tell you, hey, the medication sometimes is very strong and everything. What they never told you is either they defiled you whichever way. You will never know. Some of these things you come to learn later on. Or maybe in a very innocent conversation with one person, people tell you, hold up, you went to which doctor, which hospital? Wait a minute, my daughter went to this. Wait a minute, my son went to this. Wait a minute, my wife, my husband, my cousin. You're like, hold up, we all went to the same person and had the same problem? Nope, that cannot be normal. We have to be careful. People who idolize celebrities, you must be careful. Oh, this celebrity is performing at this place. Oh, he smiled at me. He's even done a song, and put me in a clip. Be careful. Be careful. 3/4 of these entertainment people, they live on rent. Their cars on rent. Everything is on rent. Their so-called partners are there on rent. They could be playing same bass, but they act as if they play the opposite gender. You must be careful. People are not who they say they are. Parties are not parties. 3/4 of these parties are laced. And you can go to a party of 50 people and you are the person who they were targeting, all of them. Because you are the most precious ritual sacrifice to be given. You will never know that. We must be careful. We must be vigilant. We must be keen on the environments all around us. We must be careful because crime has become so bad. There was a time if you'd hear someone who has been trafficked, humankind, you look at it as a gentleman or an old folk, maybe say he's in his late 40s, 50s, or a guy in his 30s, 40s there, and or a lady within the same age bracket. But right now, the people in this crap, people who look to have a child, they have a kid, literally. Whether it's their child, whether it's an adopted kid, whether it's a kid they've taken trafficked or, using as a object of deception, you really don't know. But they have a child. And so the lure is even scarier because now you're saying, I think families are safer, but they're not safer. Actually, those are the most dangerous people. When you look at when people are getting kidnapped, when a guy in his 30s or in his 40s asks for direction and is driving, they'll always say, that one I suspect him. Okay. If you looked at an old man, let's say 40s, 50s, dangerous. An old lady, not really, she's just an old lady. A young lady in her 30s, 40s, probable. A couple or a kid in his, a child in his teenager, minor, nah, it's just a child. Or now an older couple, no, they're just cute, retirement. Or if you see like a couple with a child, oh, they're good. So those two will lure you very fast. Excuse me, what's the direction to and see? You see this couple, or they're like, can you even direct us to where it is? We are sorry for bothering you. And so actually the lady always starts up the conversation with this child. They're like, oh, look at this couple, they are lost. And you make the one wrong mistake. You get too close to the car. Instead of keeping your distance at a safe place where you can run, you get lured by, oh, that little child, look at how, and that could be a child, maybe one of them that is their child, or a nephew or a niece or a neighbor. There are people who are very good with kids. And so they lure you and you go in, you get too close, you get to the car, and maybe they'll put something in that car you sit on. I used to see this in the public buses, where there's a needle you'd sit on, and then you sit on it, you'll become drowsy. Yeah, it was the public. Some people won't figure it out, but by the time figure it out, many people were victims. They'll put a needle in the seat. And this is public transport. And so when you sit on it, you'll feel a little pinch. But you'll assume, whatever. After that little pinch, you'll be drowsy and sleep. And so the people next to you, they'll take everything from you, or even leave the bus with you holding you. So people will think you are sick. You're not. They'll do whatever they do to you, sadly. So the same thing can happen to you in this car. And it's happening. So we need to be very careful and vigilant. Remember, as long as the governments put pressure down, people put pressure wide. And people don't care. Right now, people don't care. We have become too desensitized to seeing lives being taken. There was a time when someone would say someone passed, and there'll be a shock moment of what happened. Right now, oh, okay. Someone will say, that's just natural selection. Or it's a battle, becomes a battle of, these people of this race, this community, this ethnicity, this. Too many hearts of people have become cold. Some were victims, some are the abusers, some are just the consumers of information. And with things like social media and internet when you think about it, people don't care. Whether you choose to go deepfake AI, whether you choose to masquerade as this, people don't care. They're like one gone, population drops. So people don't care, but you need to care about yourself. You need to be very careful of the times you're living in. Be very vigilant. Treat everyone and every situation with a pinch of salt, because you do not know the intention of anyone around you. You must be careful. Friends are not friends. Family are not family. Colleagues are not colleagues. Neighbors are not neighbors. It does not mean they are not good people. All it means, you have to be careful and vigilant. And when these people see that, they put you on the side because you're a lot of problem for them. They go for another naive person. You have to be very careful with where you share your content, how you share your content. You may use this platform and have an account where you just share your life. What you really don't know, there's someone taking notes and everything, and they will fly from wherever it is, from another country to where you are, and they will tick all the boxes only to do worse to you. We should be very careful. We should live a life of vigilance and being able to understand that, yes, as much as I want to help, I need to be careful with my own security before I choose to come and secure anyone. Take care of yourself. Take care of those close to you. Trust nobody. Trust no one. The book of Micah 7 even says, the enemy of a man is his own household. We saw it in the time of Cain and Abel. We saw it in the treatment of David's brother towards him. We saw in the treatment of Aaron and Miriam against Moses. And time has shown us from scripture. We have seen it in history. We have seen it in families. We've seen it in the types of cases that are presented in judicial courts, whether criminal courts. We have seen it all around us. People close to you are the first person to take you down. The strength of a building is not the attack from the outside, it's from the attack from the inside. Any kingdom that falls does not fall from the outside first, from the inside first, then the outside is easy peasy. A robber who knows your ins and outs is someone who was invited. Be careful of who you allow in your home. Be careful of who you allow through what you watch, what you listen to, and the conversations you have. Be very careful even when you are confronting an issue or an individual. Wisdom is profitable. Just because you can speak your mind doesn't mean everyone around you will take it the same way. Someone will take it as a threat and use it against you to destroy you or whatever other intention it is. So the times are evil, and the sad story is it won't stop. As long as the pressures keep coming, dropping down, look at a balloon. When you put pressure in a balloon one way, and then it expands, right? That's the same thing. So the government is there, and it puts pressures on us, and we expand. Then you take a needle and pierce on one of the expanded areas. Psh! Be very careful of those around you. Be very vigilant. Pray discern. Ask God, should I not? Because the times are evil and the hearts of people won't stop being wicked. You need to be vigilant. Even Elizabeth, knowing and understanding that she had an amazing child in her womb, when she realized she had that child in her womb, she went missing for a time. By the time she was being visited by Mary, Mary had to have her own child. Stop showing your children to the world. Protect your own. Protect your life. Stop sharing many things personal. You can share advices or lessons learned, but your personal life, be very careful, because someone is always taking notes to use it against you at the appointed time. Pray, discern. The times are evil. Don't be scared. Stand up and stand out. But wisdom and discernment is very important in the times we are living in. May God guide us all. May He help us in these times we are living in.